there's a big barrier with payments, especially in South Africa and informal economies. The traditional banking rails wasn't built for the informal economy. You put in 100 rand, you get 90 rand out. 10 rand buys a bread. You know, and what we're trying to achieve with our digital payments is before we try to monetize anything, we want to make sure that it works, right? Super excited at Loop about Smart Mobility 2025. This is our fourth edition, and every Smart Mobility we attend has brought success and partnerships and network. The role that the government has to play in, basically the private startup sector is, the big thing that we found that worked quite well for us was the endorsement from the government. They were saying, like, we endorse this project, we see a digital future, and although we're not tackling the problem or the bull by its horns, we've got a company like Loop, that is innovating in the space, bringing new ideas, and we actually support Loop from a government perspective. That helps quite well. The future for Africa and digital payments is quite exciting, and I don't think we're going to be restricted to South Africa. I definitely see a lot of emphasis and growth further up Africa. As you mentioned, we've been on a journey for the past couple of years, participating in various capacities as a startup, but I think this one's the biggest for us, having to participate in the keynote.
Imtiyaz Riley from Loop, so good to be here with you today, especially considering the journey that we've been on together with Smarter Mobility Africa. And we've been very happy to host you and your team for a number of years. How are you doing today?
Thanks, Ben. Thanks for having me on your show today. We're super excited to be attending Smart Mobility 2025. As you mentioned, we've been on a journey for the past couple of years, participating in various capacities as a startup. But I think this one's the biggest for us, having to participate in the keynote.
Absolutely, absolutely, and we're thrilled to have you joining the Open Ceremony, and we think it's really important given the work that you're doing, a number of different touch points, minibus taxis, ticketing and payment, digitalizing. It's great to be having you on board this year. So let's jump straight in. Who is Loop? What do you do, and what problem are you solving?
Yeah, so Loop is a tech startup digitizing payments and mobility in Africa. My name is Imtiyaz Riley. I'm the CEO and founder of Loop. And my family's been in the minibus taxi industry for generations. My grandfather and father was both minibus taxi operators. I also wanted to be in the space, but they didn't want me to be a taxi driver. So I had to come in from another angle. And what we're essentially trying to do is make payments easier, digitizing payments in informal transport, as well as mobility as a service, allowing businesses and people to book existing public transport networks, and at the same time, making those operators earn more money on our platform.
Brilliant. So you're making it easy for the end user, and then those operators, making it easier for them, and also hopefully helping them to make more money. So tell us a bit more about how they can make more money. What's the mechanism that makes that happen?
Yeah, so it's simple. When you come on board the Loop platform as a minibus taxi operator, we onboard you onto our platform. Your taxi is then digitally enabled, so commuters can pay for their taxi rides. But then on the flip side, we also got almost like an Uber-like model for businesses, where businesses approach us as Loop and say, "Hey, we need to transport our staff," and the existing public transport operators then get access to those additional trips, which essentially makes them earn more money on the Loop platform.
And it seems like there's a huge amount of been happening across minibus taxis at the moment. We saw, I think just today, an electric minibus taxi being delivered to one of the taxi ranks in the Gauteng province, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Then we have Loop innovating in many different ways, and you've got a number of partners. So where's this innovation coming from? Why do you think it's important? And what does the future look like from an innovative perspective?
Yeah, I think Loop has positioned ourselves well as an enabler within the minibus taxi space. I mean, we're not coming into the space, trying to get existing work from these guys. We're all the same guys, come onto our platform and you can essentially earn more money and become digital. I think the key part of it is that um, there's many operators within the space that had a vision for digital payments within taxis for generations. It's not something new. But I think we found a lot of success working, taking the bottom up approach. So working with the local guys within the community and actually on the grassroots. I think one thing makes us stand out, and makes us attractive towards the minibus taxi entrepreneurs is that we have a design thinking process. So before we come in and try to solve problems within in the space, we unpack, what good is there that is coming out of the space now, and also the bad, and then compare the two, and then take a customer centric approach by building features that could solve real life problems for people.
Brilliant. And it seems like you and your co-founder Jamie, you jumped in and you've been tackling this problem for a number of years. What's the background that you both have in terms of what may have equipped you, whether it's with the tech skills, the entrepreneurship skills? And I ask that question knowing that we interact with lots of entrepreneurs, startups, and those that are looking to solve problems in the transport sector who might be looking to aspire to do what Loop has done over the last few years.
Yeah, I think no, our skills definitely complement one another's skills. We've got kind of our opposite approach. Jamie's the opposite of me, but I think it complements us well. I've got a big background in entrepreneurship. Started my first business while I was in high school, selling products to people. And I really had a passion for entrepreneurship. After school, I studied a bit of business management and then got back into entrepreneurship. I think where Jamie complements my skill set quite well is he's a critical thinker. So he's got a big design thinking background, and a science and innovation background. So while I'm the person, with more the operations guy on the ground with the guys, Jamie's that critical thinker that can basically boost the product side of it and the tech side as well. So I think the skill sets that we both have complements each other quite well.
So you got a perfect match there.
I tend to think so.
I remember you did one of your launches in Cape Town a number of years ago, and we were lucky to be there. And thanks for the invitation. And you had a number of the transport stakeholders from city and provincial government level. So, when we look at SMA, we host lots of different city government stakeholders from across Africa. What is it that you need from them, or rather, what role do they play in helping to accelerate the solutions that you're bringing to the table?
Yeah, I think back here in the Western Cape and Cape Town, we've established a very good relationship with the Western Cape government. And I think the role that the government has to play in, basically the private startup sector is, the big thing that we found that worked quite well for us was the endorsement from the government. They were saying, like, we endorse this project. We see a digital future. And although we're not tackling the problem or the bull by its horns, we've got a company like Loop, that is innovating in the space, bringing new ideas, and we actually support Loop from a government perspective. That helps quite well. And I think what we've noticed from SMA in the past is like having these stakeholders from government all in one room. That breeds a lot of collaboration. I remember in 2022, we met people from the officials from the Swane government, and we're still having relationships with them today, and that dialogue is still open. So while you don't always need monetary and resource support from government, I think the endorsement plays a big role in the success and the trust, and having people from the ecosystem just have that extra layer of trust in the solutions and products that we are building as startups.
Brilliant. And that makes me very happy. And I know the team will be very happy to hear that, because that's our job, and our focus is to make sure that we're connecting those key stakeholders together. So that's brilliant. And you've got partners like Visa, so a global corporation having loads of operations and activities in the transport space in pretty much every city around the world. So tell me a bit more about that partnership. How did it come together? What are you doing together? And what kind of solutions have come from that?
I think if you look at Visa's footprint in transport around the world, whether it's trains and buses and whatever transport there is, they've always been involved in trying to back startups in the space, particularly in mobility. Our relationship with Visa has been running. for a couple of years now. They've basically supported us from a resource point of view and an investment point of view to help bring to life solutions, particularly tap on phone. So what we found out is that when we did our research and design thinking, we realized that the space that we're trying to solve in, people didn't really have access to a lot of digital products. So while we were working on a feature called Chat to Pay on WhatsApp, we felt that a tap on phone solution could work in the market. And what we've realized in our case studies, and I think this is every business, and that's why when you speak to startups and people who have built successful startups, they always talk about pivots. But I think it just provided extra options and extra features to us as a company to give to our commuters. And with the tap on phone solution, when we brought that to life, we initially envisioned people just tapping and paying, in minibus taxis. But what we found out is that when we actually introduced it, it worked more as a top up mechanism. So people would use their cards to top up their wallet rather than pay for their ride. And I mean, we're currently speaking with the team in Dubai from Visa to roll out new initiatives. So Visa has been very supportive in what we've been doing, particularly our tap on phone solution. And I mean, just the network and the knowledge that we've gained from Visa really helped us as a start.
And what was the name you mentioned there? Chatterpie.
Chat to pay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I was thinking maybe ChatGPT had stolen your name there. I thought
Nah.
you could get some money for that one.
Yeah.
And you're a tech company. You probably don't need lots of hard products, but I think it's always good to know. If you go to an event like Smarter Mobility Africa, what are some of the products or actually services that you're looking to procure? Anything over the next 12 months that you're looking for, whether it's certain software, whether it's hardware.
Yeah, I think from our side, the reason why we didn't build or actually even research a lot of hardware is because previously it failed in our space, the space that we are dealing in. So a lot of money was invested in hardware, contactless solutions within taxis, and what you find out is that those devices get stolen, they get broken, and there wasn't a big it was big upfront cost and it was very risky. So we built our solutions without having any hardcore devices within taxis. But we've got a primary focus on payments and mobility. And one of the opportunities we see in our space is in the IoT side of things. So telematics, and that kind of hardware. So we're pretty excited to see what solutions there is. In the IoT sector and telematics sector. We obviously can't solve everything. We want to be good at payments and mobility. So that is something that we definitely can explore with a third party.
Brilliant, brilliant. And I just remembered you had a meeting and you shared some of that around the president of Santaco a few weeks ago. What role do taxi associations and cooperatives and organizations play in the work that you're doing?
They've got a massive role within the work that we're doing, obviously from an endorsement perspective. But I think we pretty much align on visions. They've got a vision for a digital future as well. We do understand that the problems that we're trying to solve is not going to be solved by one company, right? We need an ecosystem of government. Representatives, Santaco, taxi associations. So there's definitely a big role that they play within the space. But I think there's huge alignment right now. They want the digital future, and we obviously a company that can assist them bringing that digital future to life.
Brilliant. So it seems like digitalization is really the hot topic at the moment, obviously from Loop, but also across the minibus taxi industry.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like I said previously, digital payments and digital products is not something that started 4 years ago when Loop started exploring the market. But it's something that, I mean, my father was speaking about 10, 15 years ago, and it's not, there's a big barrier with payments, especially in South Africa and informal economies. The traditional banking rails wasn't built for the informal economy. You put in 100 rand, you get 90 rand out, 10 rand buys of bread, you know. And what we're trying to achieve with our digital payments is, before we try to monetize anything, we want to make sure that it works, right? So every transaction within the Loop ecosystem is free at the moment. There's only fees when you cash out. So when you cash out on your wallet and it has to go into your banking account, that's when we have to charge fees. But anything within the Loop system is absolutely free. So if you put in 100 rand, there's 100 rand in your Loop wallet, and that's where we found a lot of traction in. People don't want to pay exorbitant fees. We also did a lot of design thinking around applications and banking apps. And what we actually found from our sessions is that people, although smartphone penetration is above 85% at the moment, everyone still doesn't not have access to a good smartphone. So we get entry level smartphones that doesn't have a lot of memory. I mean, the RAM is not good, the specs are not good. So those people actually, if they have a choice between the banking app and WhatsApp, they delete the banking app, but they keep WhatsApp. And that's why we decided to build on WhatsApp.
Got it. And what's the percentage split there between those that have, say, your smartest smartphones and those that are still using old ones that don't allow full capabilities?
I think it's about a 15 to 20% split of people that has smartphones that doesn't have the smartphone capabilities of like an iPhone. But I mean, USSD is still big. If you look at Kenya, with the success that M-Pesa had in Kenya, USSD is still working over there. And I think it's something that's not going to go away very soon, like in the next 5 years. So what we've also done on our side is to accommodate this. We're also working on USSD solutions and offline solutions that we could utilize to make contactless payments easier.
And talking of Kenya and other cities around Africa and maybe even the world, what does your global rollout look like? Are you focused on South Africa only today, or are you currently present in other countries?
I mean, we're exploring the possibility because we feel that there's a lot of problems to be solved within Africa, especially around money and mobile money. So we've been to Nigeria and Lagos at the beginning of the year. We found a lot of problems within the payment space over there. I mean, I can talk about real life experience about going to the airport with $200 and getting a bag of naira, like literally, and from the cashier at the desk at the exchange. But in Nigeria, you cannot use your South African bank account unless they have an international point of sale device, and it was quite hard. There were times where we couldn't buy anything, and I think that that's why mobile money has kicked off so well. So we currently in Algeria now with SETFA. My co-founder Jamie Thurston Weingard is there engaging with delegates from other countries at the International Trade Fair. And we're also engaging with the Algerian government at the moment. So yesterday we did a memorandum of understanding about Luke's relationship with Algeria. So we'll be looking in the near future to roll out in Nigeria. We've got a big passion for Africa. We're also doing some engagements with M-Pesa on a knowledge exchange basis. So the future for Africa and digital payments is quite exciting. And I don't think we're going to be restricted to South Africa. I definitely see a lot of emphasis and growth further up Africa.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Imtiyaz, it's been great to speak with you today. I'm looking forward to actually seeing you in person in just a few weeks' time with your team. For now, best of luck with the work you're doing. Looking forward to hearing the updates from Algeria and Jamie very soon. And we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you so much, Ben. Cheers.